Brooksaw Antiques here. Today I'm going to show you how to remove and replace the feeder rollers on an Underwood Noiseless Portable typewriter. First thing I'm going to do is flip this switch back so it unlocks those rollers. And then I'm going to move the carriage a little bit to the left, actually all the way. So you want to make sure that the margins are all the way maxed out on each side, and then pull it all the way to the left and flip it on its back so you can see under there. Now I'm going to take a screwdriver and just kind of pull it down towards me, and then with my finger I'm going to lift it up over that bracket so now it's out of the bracket. And then I'm going to move my carriage all the way to this side and do the same thing on this side. And you can see the bracket that holds it right here. I'm just going to pop that front like that and then push it back, and now this slides right out. So now I have my rollers, and as you can see they're a little bit worn and flat on some edges, so they should be replaced. I actually already replaced this one with the 3D printed roller. Okay, so depending on how worn your rollers are, there's a couple ways to remove them. These ones don't seem to be that melted, so I'm going to try to do it with this razor blade and just kind of cut it all the way all the way across like that, and try to just peel it with my thumbnail, and that comes off pretty good. And if it's sticking pretty good, you can also just use pliers, and you can just do it with pliers anyway and just kind of pull it off like that. Sometimes it's better if you can use a razor blade, it might be better, because I think it'll cut it cleaner so nothing's sticking and you can peel it off easier, because you want to get all that residue off before you slide on the 3D printed roller. And so the ones on the end you can slide on without taking this apart, but you're gonna have to take this screw off here to get that middle one, and I'll show you how to do that once I get this one on. Just gonna get this one on first. So I have my 3D printed roller, and all you gotta do is just fit it over there, the end. This one's gonna be really snug because the edges of this have a lip, so you have to get over that lip for it to fit on, and then once it's on, it fits perfectly in between the two lips. Now I'm going to take off the screw on one side and remove that middle one. So what I'm going to do to take these off is I'm going to put a flathead on the bottom and a flathead on the top, and I'm just going to hold the flathead on the bottom like this and one on the top, and just turn the top one. And as you can see, that top one I think got loose. You might have a bottom one loose instead. Yep, it's the bottom one. So that bottom one came loose, and now we took the screw off. I'm gonna slide this off, and it's got a little gap right there, and then this slides off too with the skinnier neck and a washer. So now I'm going to take the rubber off of this and put on my 3D printed roller. I'm going to be very careful not to cut yourself. And this one's on pretty good, but there we go. So that came off nice and clean, and we're going to put on the 3D printed roller. Just like this. Nice and durable, really high quality rubber-like material. And then once you get it over those lips, it fits nice and snug on there. And then we're gonna put this on, and you can clean some of this. See, it's got a little bit of gunk on it, and you can wipe that off before you put the new one on. So we'll put the new one on, make sure it rolls, and then the washer goes on after that. And then the sleeve. Make sure it rolls, and then the spacer, and then the roller. Now we're going to put the screw back on. Make sure it's in there straight, or else you'll strip it. And then I'm just going to tighten this side. Doesn't need to be over tightened. And just make sure that all these rollers roll. So now we have 3 3D printed rollers on the small roller, and we're going to put that back in. Okay, now we have the typewriter back in the downward position, and we're going to just kind of slide in this roller. Make sure that it's not going to get in the way when we slide it again, and I'm just going to pull down this bracket and just put it on there. You can use a screwdriver too, but it's easy with your finger too. Now I'm just going to move the carriage to this side and do the same thing. I'm going to use a screwdriver on this side. Sorry, you can better see. Okay, so this bracket, it goes right over this bracket here and and it sits on that little spacer, and then you just push it back. And now we're going to do that. This is sorry. So I push back the paper release back into its default position, and I'm going to load a page. Make sure that works. Works perfect. Front rollers are done.